Did you know that a doctor was locked up and killed in a mental asylum just for saying his colleagues should wash their hands before assisting in childbirth? His name was Ignaz Semmelweis, and although he saved millions of lives, his reward was scorn, humiliation, and death. Today we will learn about his story, a real case of how science advances, despite resistance from those who should listen to it. Before we begin, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications so you don't miss more stories like this. Let's go! The beginnings of a brilliant doctor. Ignaz Philipp Semmelweis was born on July 1, 1818, in Buda, present-day Budapest, Hungary. His family of German origin had a comfortable position thanks to the food trade, which allowed him to access a quality education. Initially, his father encouraged him to study law, but after attending an anatomy class by chance, he was fascinated by medicine and decided to change course. He entered the University of Vienna, considered at that time the best medical school in Europe. In 1846, after graduating, he got a job at the Vienna General Hospital as an assistant in the obstetrics department. There, his life would change forever. A hospital that killed more than it cured. The Vienna General Hospital had two maternity clinics. The first clinic, where doctors and students worked, and the second clinic, staffed by midwives in training. But there was a terrifying fact. In the first clinic, the mortality rate from childbed fever was up to 5 times higher than in the second clinic. The pregnant women, terrified, begged on their knees not to be admitted to the first clinic. Some even gave birth in the street before entering, because they knew that if they entered there was a good chance they would never come out alive. What was happening? Why were women dying en masse in one clinic and not the other? The solution that doctors hated. Semmelweis ordered all doctors and students to wash their hands with a chlorine solution before treating any patient. The result? Mortality in the first clinic dropped from 18% to less than 1% in a few months. He had found the solution to childbed fever and saved countless lives. But instead of receiving recognition, his colleagues reacted with fury. Why? Because accepting Semmelweis's theory meant admitting that they themselves had killed thousands of women with their own hands. Because at that time, doctors did not want to accept that they could be dirty or that their practices could cause disease. Because Semmelweis was not an influential figure in medicine and his discoveries challenged the medical beliefs of the time. Instead of acknowledging their mistake, the doctors preferred to ridicule and reject Semmelweis. His tragic end. In 1865, at the age of 47, his wife and a group of doctors tricked him into visiting a sanatorium in Vienna. Upon arriving, he was forcibly locked up in an insane asylum. The guards beat him brutally, tied him up in a straitjacket, and subjected him to treatments of the time such as cold water baths and purgatives. 2 weeks later, he died from an infection caused by the wounds from the beating. He died ironically of sepsis, the same disease he fought against all his life. He was buried without honors. The medical community forgot about him. The recognition he never saw. Decades later, Louis Pasteur developed the germ theory, and Joseph Lister popularized antisepsis in surgery. Only then did the medical community accept that Semmelweis was right. Today, he is considered the father of antisepsis and one of the greatest heroes of medicine. Thanks to him, millions of lives have been saved. But his story leaves us with a harsh lesson. Knowledge is not always well received, and pioneers often pay a very high price for being ahead of their time. Final reflection. What do you think of the story of Ignaz Semmelweis? Why do you think so many doctors refuse to listen to him? Leave your comment below. If you want more stories like this, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications. See you in the next video.